Thank you so much for checking out this Coins Age Media podcast. Once you get through with this show, please go over and check out coinsagemedia.com and check out the stuff that we're doing over there. We've got links to absolutely everything from YouTube channels, podcast, indie film, you name it, it's there. If we're doing it, it's on the website, so please check it out after the show and hope you find something interesting there for you. So let's get going with this audio podcast that you've tuned in for. Hey guys, welcome along to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into another Hammer horror review here on Hellmouth Hotline. This is a fantastic movie, Scars of Dracula. Let's get on to it. I hope you enjoy this little review. This movie is Scars of Dracula from 1970, and Christopher Lee is back as Dracula, and it's always interesting to see just how they're going to resurrect him in all these films. Now, honestly, it's been so long since I actually properly sat down and watched any of the Hammer horrors before I started doing the reviews in this series, and I can remember it's just been something every time I would come across a new one, and I'm not even sure at this point, I actually should have looked that up before I started recording this episode, how many Christopher Lee Dracula movies there actually are. But that's just starting on this year. I'm like, I want to see how they bring him back and how they do away with him again, because that was just kind of like the theme. He would get resurrected at the beginning of the movie, and by the end of it he'll be beaten and killed again. So in this one, as I say, Christopher Lee is in it. Dennis Waterman, I liked him. He was in a series called Minder whenever I was growing up. Really good series. So I had no idea I was actually in any of these films, so it was interesting to see him again. And the eagle-eyed person who as a giant geek nerd such as myself would straight away maybe not recognise him visually, but as soon as you hear the voice, Patrick Troughton, who was the second actor to play Doctor Who, is in this movie as well, playing the role of Clove, who is Dracula's butler slash slave sort of deal. So also stars Jenny Hanley, Michael Ripper, Christopher Matthews, and Michael Gwynn as a priest that's in it. Basically, in this film, the way he gets resurrected at the beginning is the film opens up, and in Dracula's castle you can see his ashes on this stone table sort of a thing where he's been killed somewhere along the line. Now I do believe that this box set, could be wrong, I need to look it up and get an actual list of all the movies that was ever made, but this is almost like this selection of movies and this box set seem to be like a hand-picked group of movies. Like there doesn't seem to be any real rhyme or reason as to the way in which they come out of this box set, and like the Dracula movies that I've seen so far haven't been the first one. So yes, this one here doesn't correspond to the way he died in the last movie that I watched, but at the beginning of this one here, his ashes are on this stone table sort of thing, and you can see his cloves and his cape are there as well, but he's been killed, he's been turned to ashes, and a vampire bat flies into the room and just pours blood out of his mouth onto the ashes, and that resurrects Dracula once again. to start his reign of terror once more. So, in the local village, a guy turns up with the body of a dead girl who's been killed by a vampire. You see the 2 puncture wounds in her neck, and the town folk, the men, along with the priest, head off to Dracula's castle to finish him off once again. And you know, they go, actually just torch the castle. Clove tries to stop them, and he's like, you'll never beat him, like the flames will never reach my master. They set fire to the castle, and off they go back home victorious. While they've been gone, the women folk of the village have been taking refuge in the local church, and when the guys from the village arrive back, they discover that the woman and everyone that was in the church has been massacred by vampire bats. Dracula has had his revenge on them that quickly. So we skip from that there to Dennis Waterman and his bride-to-be, more or less, and her birthday party, and his brother, that's a bit of a troublemaker, is, you know, he's late to the party, normally in trouble, but he turns up and he's trying to pretend he's not up to anything. He's no problems at the minute, but previous to going to the birthday party, he was having an affair with a nobleman's daughter, and she kicks him out of the house in a slight argument. You know, he realizes he's late for this party. He goes to leave. She's not happy. She thinks he's going to see another woman. Of course, the fight starts. He's about to leave. Her father turns up, and his guards go chasing after him. So he gets to the party and talks to Dennis Waterman, and Jenny Henley is... Sorry, I got completely distracted by IMDb right there. Yes, he gives her a birthday present, and he's trying to pass it off like, you know, haven't upped anything, you know, I was late because I was doing night classes, this sort of thing. And at that point, the 2 guards turn up at the party. They follow them there, so he makes his escape out through a window, and he jumps down into the street as a horse and cart are passing, and straight through the roof of it, and off the horse and cart goes. And sorry, it wasn't passing, it was parked below. So the horses run off, spooked, into the forest, and he actually ends up falling off it, and he's walking through the forest, and he comes across this little village that is the village of the people that were hunting down Dracula, and he tries to get refuge there at the bar, the local inn, and he's refused entry simply because he's a stranger. They don't trust strangers. The barmaid was willing to give him a room for the night, but she was more or less attracted to him. That's the only reason she was going to do it. But the owner kicks him out. He winds up coming across another horse and carriage, 2 dark horses. If you've seen the past Dracula films, you know what this is. This is Dracula's coach, and he jumps into it. It takes him, you know, he's not planning on going anywhere. He just wants to get and have a little bit of a rest until the morning. But once he gets in, he ends up, the coach takes him to Dracula's castle. He winds up in there, and of course that's not going to go well. So we jump on Dennis Waterman and his bride-to-be go searching for him. They end up at the inn, eventually find out where he's at. Cutting a long story short, eventually they get to Dracula's castle in the hopes of finding him. And I'm just going to give it a quick bounce over here at the end, because this video is getting insanely long. Clove falls in love with this girl, and actually ends up trying to protect her from Dracula. And Dennis Waterman eventually finds out what's happened to the brother. Of course, he's been killed, and it's down to him, Dennis Waterman, to fight off Dracula at the end of it. They escape the hotel, they find out exactly what's happening, who Dracula is and whatnot. Him and the priest decide they're going to go back and fight him off, and you know, his bride-to-be winds up getting dragged to the castle again, and we get a final showdown on the roof of Dracula's castle in this film. And Dracula he doesn't get killed by anyone, but he does get taken out by a bolt of lightning which sets him on fire. Dead once more, maybe to be resurrected in a later film. I have no idea. As I say, there don't seem to be any rhyme or reason to which way these movies are coming out of this box set. I'm just going through, opening up the discs. The first one comes out. This may be in completely the wrong order. I'm 100% not sure whatsoever, but this movie here does make great use of visual effects, and Dracula has got like a sanctuary where he goes to sleep and is safe from entry. There's only one entry into this room, and it's from outside the castle, but it's way up in the air. But there's a bedroom that's just above this room where he gets clove to bring his potential victims. So during the night, Dracula can come out of the one room and, you know, get up to the room above, have a feast, get back to his coffin before sunrise. There's an effect in this film where Dennis Waterman is face to face with Christopher Lee in this room, and Lee leaves the room to go to the one above, and there's an effect of him climbing up the wall from outside, looking up towards, you know, the window where he's crawling out, up towards the window where he wants to get to, and he climbs up towards the top window, and it's so well flipping done. And I actually rewinded it back a few times because I was thinking, did they do it the same way that the old Batman show from the 60s used to do, where they just turned the camera around sideways and the guy would like crawl on his hands and knees as if he was climbing up the wall whenever the image is put the other way? But the way his cape and things are hanging, it's so well done. Like, I think that there was a hidden line taking him up, but it was so well done. The movie is it's really good, it's really enjoyable. Christopher Lee, for a change as Dracula, has a heck of a lot of dialogue in this film, which I really appreciated. The last one I reviewed, he had absolutely no dialogue in it whatsoever. He just kind of like hissed and got on through it. But this one here definitely is one worth checking out, so go get the box set and enjoy the life out of this film. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.